lagging so much that it didn't even play the video. So you may or may not have seen the countdown. It was saying that it wasn't loading the video on my side. So I did an internet test and it was rocking and rolling. And then as soon as I put on the StreamYard, live stream just kills the upload and the download. So anyways, saw some comments already. Good morning, everybody. Whether you're on the live crew or the replay crew, please hit, comment what assets you want me to see. If you're on the replay crew, then I'll take a look at it on tomorrow's stream. If you're on the live crew, we'll try to get through everyone's symbol. The first half of the live stream we'll go over the charts that I want to take a look at that I think are important, and then the second half we'll cover as many symbols as possible that you've requested. So if you're here first, you're probably going to get most likely yours is going to be looked at first, and then good morning, Doc. Yep, Don Julio. Oh, Don Julio, I know that person. Julian, what's up? Comment anything you want as far as like the symbol, the name of the company or the crypto asset, and then let me know if it's crypto or stock, because I don't have everything on my watch list. So if I have to search, it just makes it a lot faster to search. So Catan 1998, hey, what's up? Oswaldo Flores, good morning. NT, laughing out loud. Let's see. Oh yeah, because NT was the first one here in the chat, and not the first one to like it. Aldo was. He commented, first one to like it. So thank you, appreciate it. We've got nine people so far. We'll get up to 20, I'm sure. And then on the live streams on the X app, we got over 2,000 views. So looks a little bit light on the YT app, the YouTube app, but on the X app, there's a lot more views. So we'll just go, and then we'll jump into it. So the title is, is the NASDAQ rolling over? Is the NASDAQ crashing? And we're going to go over it. We've been talking about it. And we even talked about a scenario where this could be an overall macro lower high, right? So in the end of 2021 for the NASDAQ, we're talking about it rolling over and potentially having, hitting targets, 30 to 40% to the downside. It did. Then on the rally, we were talking about, the NASDAQ rallying, and it rallied even further and longer than I thought, right? So you want to play it to the upside and the downside if you can. Also, another strategy is if you're not ready to short the market and you don't feel skilled enough, or you just haven't put enough work in yet, going to cash is a strategy, right? So going to cash, whether that's, obviously, with inflation stuff, I would never recommend, just putting the money in a checking account. You definitely want your, cash to make some sort of return, right? So, but going to cash is a strategy. So you just have to decide what your strategy is. And if you have someone managing your money, like my family, I don't want to manage my family's money whatsoever. I don't want that burden. I don't want that stress. I don't, I would feel awful if it didn't work out the way I want. Stock, okay. So I just tell them, like, if I'm seeing something longer, oh, the stream is really slow. StreamYard, come on, step up your game. I just tell them to go to their financial planner and say, hey, the markets may be rolling over. What options do we have? What plan can we come up with together? You and your financial planner, not me. I'm not your financial planner. I'm just showing you what I see in the charts. And you always have to do your own research and consult your own financial planner. So with that, let's jump right in the charts. We'll go big screen, Doc, iShares. Yep, we got to figure that one out. Symbol, URTH. Okay, I'm going to put you first on the list just because you were asking yesterday. Have you tried turning off your camera? Maybe that'll make it a bit faster. Yeah, I probably could turn off the camera, but I think I've gotten a lot of requests to be on camera, so I guess that would probably help overall. We'd have to I could take a look at it. Would be cool if you could check out XRP later on. Daily RSI is currently at 49. Okay, so it's starting to get in that bearish territory. Let's jump in to the NASDAQ and we'll start jumping through the charts in the first half, like I said, and then we'll start getting to the requests. So keep commenting if you can, and we'll try to get through this fairly quickly. So let's see. Without rushing, right? So without rushing. So the NASDAQ, the quick replay on it is, we've had this bearish divergence that we are calling out, a lower high, right? We're talking about a potential lower high here. We're talking about a potential lower high here. And then price broke down. And there was if you remember back on the live streams and or looking at the charts on the X app or in the Discord, there was a pending sell here. Or if you're in the free newsletter, right? Posting it there too. So there was a pending sell signal here, but it didn't ever close with a sell signal. But it did close below the trend line, right? And then it closed below the trending dots. A second close below the trending dots and the upward trend line, right? And now today it's looking like follow through. It's still early in the day and the day doesn't close, the day hasn't closed yet, but it was a pending sell back here, right? So today, not only do we have a pending sell, there's also a pending MACD bearish crossover, which you can see if I kind of zoom in here. You can see that the indicator, it's kind of hard to see, but if I turn off show MACD, right, you can see the pending sell. So we've got a pending sell and a pending bearish MACD crossover. By the way, this gap was filled, right? It had gapped up back here, and this gap is now filled. So we can remove that. So that gap is filled. So we do have a pending sell and a pending bearish MACD crossover. So we're going to turn the MACD indicator back on. And that's what I like about it, because in real time, sometimes, the MACD indicator by itself, it's kind of hard to tell if it's actually crossing over or it's not. So we added it to the sharpshooter candles as, hey, just as an awareness that the MACD is pending a bearish or a bullish crossover. So right now we do have, of course, we do have the actual bear and bull crossover, but I really like the pending because I don't have to try to like zoom in on the MACD every single time. I'm just taking a look at it on the screen. It's going to tell me, right? So it is rolling over. And after hitting, this first target from that low number 2, the probabilities continue to increase, continue to stack of that. We're going to go to hit lower targets, right? So that doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. It takes time to play out. As you can see, going through this topping pattern started June 2023. So June 2023. And then July, we had the bearish divergence. And then the lower high was put in end of July, right? End of July. And then the first sell signal beginning of August, followed by hitting a major target 1, reverse back up, it's slowly been putting in a second lower high that we've been talking about since here. And now it's rolling back over. So the probabilities continue to increase of hitting lower targets. But my point was that it doesn't mean it's going to happen all at once, right? It could still take some more time to play out, right? Something like that. Or, since this is a lower high already, it could just come all the way down, right? But all roads lead to hitting that second target. So the paths are that the probabilities continue to increase that we're going to see lower targets, not that price is going to the moon and that we're going to have a blow off top. So if you look on the longer term, the weekly chart, let's take a look there. And you got the 200-week moving average way down here, right? So let's get off the brush. And you can see that we had that longer term bearish divergence that we were talking about back in July. And then we had that RSI sell signal in middle of August. And so a month later, it didn't reverse and go back up and have continued bearish divergence. Instead, it's looking like on the weekly chart, it's too early to call it on the weekly chart, even though we're calling lower highs on the daily chart. The weekly chart, isn't confirmed yet, right? Obviously, it's got to close back down below here before it's confirmed, but it's starting to look like this is also a lower high on the weekly chart, which would tell me that, these lower prices are going to happen. Now, we don't know if it's going to be a longer term bear market or if it's just a correction from this rally, right? So we want to remain neutral, but what we're going to do we're going to take a quick left turn here, and we're going to look at a potential macro chart. I posted these charts back in December 2021. Posted them as it was dropping down, and then we were talking about a potential rally. And then if it does put in a lower high, something to be aware of and something to pay attention to is, if price doesn't find support at these correction areas or at the 200-week moving average and bounce, then could we see a longer term bear market, right? So if you've seen the posts that I've done over the last couple of years or a year and a half talking about this, then you would know that the chart of psychology of a market, right? So you want to look at that. So what we would do is let's turn off this real quick. Let's hide everything, and then let's switch this to line. So I just want to kind of look at like a longer term, what it looks like. Could even go to the monthly maybe. So if you zoom out on the monthly chart, right? Was this the macro peak? And is this a macro lower high, right? Again, it's too early to say, but looking at this on the monthly chart, right? So if you're looking at a similarity, right? You've got a macro peak, macro lower high. This rally was very similar, right? Wasn't as long, but it was about the same as is about the same percentage wise, right? Go back to 2007, 2008, right? You had the peak, and then you had a lower high, and then it dropped down, right? So could that what this it turns out to be? Possibly. So the first thing that we're going to do is see if it finds support at these lower targets, assuming this is a lower high, right? And or find support of the 200-week moving average, very similar to back here, and then see if it bounces. If not, could this be another longer term, crash, right? So this was like a 70% drop, right? If we just take a quick measurement here, from the very top all the way down, it's like 70%. So that very first drop, not counting the wicks, it was going to be about 30%. But if you count the wicks, it's about 30 to 40%, right? And this is about 30 to 40%. So just as an awareness, could we see lower prices? And, could we see price come all the way back down, 70, that's a long drop down. But is it possible? It's possible. So As a swing trader, overall, we're just going to look at it as it's a correction for now. And if it breaks below these targets, let's go back to the candles. And we'll turn everything back on, and we'll go back down to the lower time frames. Let's go to the weekly chart. Right? So had this big move up, right? Big correction down, nice rally. This could be the lower high, right? This could be another lower high. And then if price doesn't find support, at the key targets, or if price doesn't find support of the 200 week moving average, then that's when we're going to, think that price could come all the way back down to the March 2020 lows, right? Several stocks have come back down that low, and several stocks have gone below the March 2020 lows. It's kind of like the Magnificent Seven has been kind of holding up the price overall in the NASDAQ. But if we look at the Magnificent Seven, right? This is a lot of speculation, by the way, but that's what we're gonna do. They're all kind of rolling over, right? So we're gonna find out if it's gonna be a longer term bear market for the NASDAQ and possibly even the Magnificent Seven that's been holding up the NASDAQ. But until then, we've got to get through the targets, right? So we're gonna follow the targets first and foremost, and watch it on the swing trades. But overall, it is an awareness that it could be a longer term bear market. So not to be too negative here on this channel, we're pretty positive, and we look at it as it's not even negative. It's we're looking for opportunities, whether to the upside or the downside. And as right now, those are just ideas longer term. And you could either take advantage of it two ways. One, if you're skilled enough, you could short the market, and if you're not, then you talk to your financial planner and game plan with them and see if there's a better strategy out there than buy and hold, right? So that's something you got to discuss with your financial planner and talk it over with them. I'm just showing you the charts. All right, so that's the NASDAQ. Let's keep going. Let's go back to the Sniper Top 40, and because a lot of them are on there anyways. Let's go to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's still on track. With the NASDAQ rolling over, we're gonna stay very on our toes and cautiously optimistic that we come up and hit the third target, possibly the fourth target before potentially rolling over. But it's possible with the NASDAQ rolling over and some of these larger stocks rolling over that maybe we don't get all the way back up there. I still think that we do come up and hit this third target and possibly the fourth target before rolling over. But, we're staying very neutral, and we're staying alert that, it's possible that it just rolls over after the second target, right? So we'll see. But right now, it's still trending up. It's still bullish. Really good question. New highest opinion of David Hunter. Doc, not to call anyone out, but I called David end of 2021 on Twitter. I called him out, first quarter of 2022, second quarter of 2022. David was on the wrong side for a long time, and I called him out that, the NASDAQ, SP 500 was crashing, and we're going much, much lower. He was calling bottoms at a 10% correction, 15% correction, 20% correction. He ended up blocking me on the X app, aka Twitter. So I don't hold any weight to what that guy says. So he blocked me because I called him out. He lost. I gave him a gentleman's bet on the X. If anyone's been following me for a year and a half, 2 years on Twitter, you probably got a kick out of that back then, or you remember that me doing that. But yeah, David, I don't know who Zeberg is, and Zeberg or New Low's opinion of Soloway. I stay hyper focused, so I don't really. I know who Soloway is. I don't know who Zeberg is. David, I know who David is. He's been on the wrong side of this correction for a long time. He probably thought the rally was going to be all-time highs. it could have, but not. But during that whole 40% correction, he was on the wrong side calling for all-time highs. So, uh, yeah, well, David lost the gentleman's bet, and then probably didn't like being wrong and calling him out. So whatever, I don't care. He blocked me a long time ago on the X app, and he was wrong for a long time. So I don't hold any weight to what David said. I don't even care what he says anymore. Zeberg, like I said, I don't know. Soloway seems good overall. I just don't know. I don't follow him or anything. I follow him on Twitter because he followed me first. I didn't know that, and I haven't watched any of his streams or anything. I've seen him on TV and stuff, but I don't really know how good he really is. So I just stay focused. So that's Bitcoin. If we look at the weekly chart overall, it's still going to be bearish. I know it says a pending buy signal, but it's still early in the week. It's still below the trending dots. And by the end of the week, it could still end up being bearish. And even if there was a buy signal, it is below the trending dots and everything's still trending back downwards. That I'm not holding too much weight to the pending buy signal right now in the weekly chart. Uh, Even though I'm playing the long position on the daily chart, right? So I know it's short term. I'm just capitalizing on either hopefully target 2 or target 3, possibly target 4. But I'm not holding too much weight to the pending buy signal on the weekly chart as I just talked about. Let's keep going. Natural gas. We've been watching natural gas for a long time as a potential monster play. You got the 200-week moving average way up here at $3.88, call it, or let's just call it what it actually is. Well, this is the exponential moving average. It's $3.90 currently, right? So it had a buy signal yesterday, and this is follow through from that buy signal. And then if we look at the weekly chart, it's a pending buy signal. So shout out to Arnold, long time sniper in the Discord over a year, pointed out not natural gas futures chart, but natural gas chart yesterday was a pending a buy signal. And so he pointed that out. And because the futures chart was not pending a buy signal yesterday, but it started to become a pending buy signal today. So this is what we were looking for. This is what we talked about way back here. We were really early, and so there's been a lot of chop going through this whole borrowing phase. But way back here in April, earlier this year, we were talking about it would be a monster move because futures is with leverage, right? So it'd be a monster move if natural gas came back up and retested the 200-week moving average, and that the topping pattern looked very similar to Bitcoin, right? So, and that's one of the things that you had this peak here, and then you had this peak here. So very similar to Bitcoin's topping pattern, and then that lower high as well, right? So if natural gas played out very similar to Bitcoin and retested the 200-week moving average, then that'd be a monster move of natural gas. DJR78, big up, Jesse. Thank you. What's up, DJR? I think I know who you are. But you may have a different Discord and X app name. I'm pretty sure, but let me know who you are on Twitter or Discord. What's up? Good morning. So pending buy signal in natural gas futures with a buy signal on the daily chart. It's looking pretty good. I'm holding my long position on that futures play that I'm in right now. So we'll see 4.84% today. So if you multiply that by leverage, then it's you can do the math on that, quick math. So let's go to next on the list. We're already 24 minutes in, so we're going to start picking it up a little bit faster on Microsoft, Nvidia, Google. We've covered these already in the past, but we just want to check in on them. Tesla's on the list. I know a lot of people want me to cover Tesla, so I just put it on the list there. Let's see. All right, let's go to Microsoft. Then we can get into the charts that you guys want to see as well on the second half and have more time for that. Microsoft, we had that bearish divergence going all the way back to May 2023. Bearish divergence, bearish divergence. This was like a subtle lower high just to hit this first target. I haven't even kept up with, hitting all the targets, but this target was hit, right? So check that. And then this looks like another lower high, right? So you've got lower high, sell signal back below the trending dots. Draw out this trend line here. Price back below the trend line and the trending dots. We got a MACD bearish crossover pending. Just looks like at least come back down and retest the target one, but the probabilities continue to stack of hitting target two. Let's look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart had that bearish divergence as well, very similar to the NASDAQ. No need to keep covering that. Had the RSI sell signal. This looks like the lower high, right? It looks more like a lower high. Trending dots are trending down. Probabilities continue to stack of Microsoft, which I believe is in the Magnificent Seven, I believe. Nope, it's not in the Magnificent Seven. It's in the Magnificent Eight. So that's weekly chart. It's still trending downward, right? So that's Microsoft. All right. What do we got? We got Nvidia still trending downward, right? On the weekly chart. But on the daily chart, let's take a look. So overall, it's bearish. The weekly chart is still currently bullish, but there are signs of the weekly chart that looks like it's going to become bearish. I think it's just really early. But if you go back to the daily chart, you've got the bearish divergence going all the way back to May as well. And then putting that bearish divergence up here. And then this would be that lower high. The trending dots are trending downward. And we're closing in on target one. The wick just missed yesterday at about 420 roughly. And so getting into that target box, sub 420. And then we'll see if it bounces, puts in another lower high, or if it just continues down, back tests that trend line, puts in another lower high, and then continues down. I was looking at the targets and I put the targets on. Huge, massive 20% gap at target three. There is a major confluence of reasons why, including the 20% gap at target three. So we'll see if it happens or not. We'll see if the fourth target gets hit, and then we'll see if price finds support or if it continues to break down and it's a longer term correction, right? So we're going to take it level by level, and we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're putting out, longer term plans, potential plans, but we're going to play it level by level. So I put the magnet at target box 3 because there's more than a 20% massive gap and other longer term major targets coming in at that area. So it's a big area for potential target and support. So we'll see on Nvidia. Let's keep going. Google. Jeremy Maloney. Good morning. Adam, worth a look? Yeah. If it's worth a look for you, then it's worth a look. We can take a look at it. Thanks for commenting. Thanks everyone for liking. We don't have a million views right now, so we need everyone to like, comment, subscribe, share, keep it going. And we're going to still do these no matter what. So Google, it's early on Google, right? So we're talking about this bearish divergence, right? Going all the way back to May as well. Bearish divergence. Never quite, got back above this trend line, right? So let's kind of dive in here. And then you've got, continued bearish divergence there. So will it continue to have bearish divergence, or we're going to see a lower high? With the markets rolling over, if I don't like to guess that a top is in, but at this point, it just seems like the top is in. It's too early to call it, but this has been so much continued. That's my dog making noise over there. She's trying to get comfortable. We don't have a puppy cam, but should we get a puppy cam? Get a puppy cam and have her on screen with us? I don't know, maybe. So it just seems like that's it, because the Magnificent Seven is rolling over. The NASDAQ is rolling over. We've had bearish divergence since May as well on Google. And so are we going to see further breakdown, a sell signal, possibly even come down and hit this target first, or maybe right before the target? Someone front runs my targets, right? And then price comes all the way back up, puts in a lower high, similar to Apple, possibly, right? Similar to Apple, which we could take a look at real quick. It would be similar looking to Apple, right? So you got that breakdown and then a bigger move down to the gap. I mean, it formed even a gap. Went below target one, almost target two, then put in a lower high. So could it do something similar to that? It's possible. I mean, treat each one separately and differently, but it could be something like that. So that's Google. It could be very close to the top right now and gets rolling over, right? So that's Google, early on Google. Netflix had that bearish divergence, put in that lower high, and then you've got target 2. This probably goes up here. Target 2, you have the 200-week moving average at $370 roughly. It's coming right in the center of our key target area. So whether that happens overnight or it bounces back up into the trending dots and or retests the upward trend line is a possibility before moving back down. So we'll see on that. And real quick, okay, just taking a look there. So that's Netflix. All right, let's look at Tesla. Let's go. We're already 3 minutes over the first half. We want to get into the chart requests too. Hit a key target. Hit a key target. Is this a lower high? Right. So you had bearish divergence going back to June and July, followed by hitting a key target retracement, multiple key target retracements. Right. I just left on the very last target, and then you do have a smaller gap up here. Will it get filled first? Possibly. But very similar to the NASDAQ, you had a lower high followed by this could be another lower high. And so if it starts to break back down, then the probabilities are going to continue to increase that price comes back down, it hits this lower target, which is also near the 200-week moving average. So that's something we're going to be watching. And we kind of draw this out like this. Right? Could do that. Let's see. Let's draw it like that. Let's see where that lines up. Yeah, let's draw it out like that. And that also pretty much lines up with the trending dots. So if you start to lose that price on, it's at 264 now, you start losing this upward trend line, you start losing the trending dots. Most likely, you're going to also see a pending sell signal, and then that would start to tell me that this is that lower high, right? So you've got bearish divergence followed by a potential lower high, and then price coming back down at least to retest this target. If not, come all the way back down to this target, with this target with a 200-week moving average. So that's Tesla. Let's take a quick look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart also looks like a potential lower high here. And you did have a RSI sell signal, right? And that original sell signal on the weekly chart before reversing it and getting a bounce. So what do we always talk about? That lower high or shorting the bounce is that higher probability play, right? So we'll see. It's still currently bullish on the weekly chart. It's still currently above the trending dots on the weekly chart, but it looks like it could be possibly rolling over and putting in another lower high after that bearish divergence. So we'll see how it works out. I got some requests over the last couple of streams for US oil, and it did hit this next target. It is still currently uh, ultra bullish on the daily chart, and it's still currently bullish on the weekly chart. So let's let's zoom out here. So after hitting a key target area here, right? There was a breakout longer term on this weekly chart. After bullish divergence, there was a breakout, a buy signal. Price got back above the 200-week moving average, came up, hit target 1, came up, hit target 2. Now we'll find out if there's going to be, some sort of like maybe it consolidates sideways, kind of let the moving averages and let the trending dots catch up before possibly hitting the target 3. Or if that's it, if target 2 is all it's going to do, and then we'll see if it comes back down to hit lower targets. But as of right now, the trend is up on the weekly chart. It's bullish. It's ultra bullish on the daily chart. So it's possible that we see price go up and hit that third target. And then we'll see what it does from there. It's possible that this run continues on for, at least a couple more months. It's possible that, the run could continue upwards on oil. But again, you just want to take it level by level and, drop down the daily chart and see, is that it, right? That's a pretty sharp move down today, but it's still ultra bullish. So it depends on how the day closes, the weeks are closing, and any bounces. With the weekly chart being bullish as it is, it's a buy the dip scenario until it's not, right? And there's no bearish divergence on the daily chart as of right now. So let's take a look at two more, and then we'll start getting the requests. One of the requests was XOM, so I have that on there. And then, but we'll want to get into Doc and some more as well. So let's go. All right. So the 10-year yield is still bullish. There's another MACD bullish crossover pending. There is and was bearish divergence, and there hasn't been a lower high put in quite yet. So it's still bullish. The trending dots are still trending upward. Another possible MACD bullish crossover on the daily. It's not good for housing. It's not good for, businesses, borrowing money. You've got long-term bearish divergence, but this could be continued bearish divergence, and there could be bearish divergence can last for a lot longer than what we would think as traders and investors, right? You do have this upper target, so is this going to happen more possibly in the short term? Never, or maybe there's maybe there's a correction first, right? Comes back down, retests, and then finds support, and then makes another run up at those targets. Comment if you think the 10-year yield will hit this higher target first, or the 200-week moving average first. What do you think? As of right now, it's still bullish on the weekly chart, and it's still currently bullish on the daily chart. So we'll see how it works. The VIX, it's up 5.71% today. So the weekly chart is starting to show signs of strength on the RSI weekly. We had the breakout here, hit Target 1 almost hit target 2, consolidated, went through correction. Looks like basically looks like a triple, if not almost a quadruple bottom, right, on the VIX. And so we kind of zoom in here. It's currently pending a buy signal, and there's a MACD pending bull cross as well, right? So the VIX is looking bullish, and after this target, you know, we'll see if it goes up and hits target 2, and then after that, retest the 200-week moving average, and then we'll see if price hits these higher targets. And then there's always that potential that price flips these targets into support, and then there's a much bigger move up to the upside, which means there could be a much bigger correction in the NASDAQ and the SP 500. Typically, when the VIX is pumping, SP 500 is correcting or crashing, right? So that's the VIX pending buy signal, broke out yesterday, is back above the trending dots. So this would be, you know, it's starting to look like follow through with a 5.71%. And so let's jump into Arnold. If BTC start dropping from 20 to 24, it would be a good movement due to weekly still bearish. Yeah, that would be a good potential short the bounce opportunity. And that's what we're looking for. I'm playing it to the upside and looking for it to start to make its move and start to roll over, you know, lock in some profits. That's the plan. And then jump into, you know, as long as everything is lining up the way I want it to, jumping into the short position and attack it to the downside as well, right? Swing trading, right? That's what we're doing, swing trading. All right, so that's the VIX. Let's take a look at XOM. That is one of the comments. Adam, that was already done. So let's go back up. TLT. All right, let's do XOM for NT first because it's already on the chart. ExxonMobil. Let's zoom out here. Let's take a look at the weekly. We've got 18 minutes, so I think we can get through all of these. You got let's see, you got a high, right? You had bearish divergence long term. 2 targets were hit on the correction. This was mapped out a long time ago, back in May. Right? I haven't looked at ExxonMobil in a while, even though it's on the watch list. You still have all this longer term bearish divergence, in my opinion. So it seems like a matter of time that eventually ExxonMobil is going to clear the bearish divergence and or retest the 200-week moving average, which happens to come in at the third target box. So it's too early to call it. The weekly chart is still currently bullish, but could this be a sneaky lower high, right? Could this be a sneaky lower high at 116 on the weekly chart? It's possible. It's just way too early to say, right? Everything is still bullish on the weekly chart. Let's look on the daily chart. Basically, if this was a sneaky lower high, then this is really early, right? Because it's the first candle of it rolling over, and there's not even a sell signal on the daily chart yet. So if you're in a long position, you know, when do you consider taking profit, right? When do you consider taking profit from a long position? Well, maybe it's when it starts breaking down from the trend line. You know, maybe it's breaking back down below the trending upward dots, right? Maybe there's a sell signal. Maybe that, you know, all those things to consider. NT, you have to decide if you're in a long position, like when do you consider to take profits? Because it's still currently bullish on the daily chart and it's still currently bullish on the weekly chart, but it could be putting in a sneaky lower high on XOM. All right, let's see. Let's go back to the comments. TLT. All right, let's look at TLT. TLT. Traded TLT in the past. It's been a long time. I don't think I've traded TLT for 3 years. I think it's been a long time since I traded TLT. All right, let's take a look at the weekly chart. So the overall trend is still bearish. The overall trend is still downward. Even the 200-week moving average is still trending downward and is at $121. So I'm not sure if you're in a short NT or if you're looking for a long position. It's possible this is a double bottom. I don't see. Let's see. Let's take a look there. Could be slight bullish divergence, but it's too early to call that. It's just so bearish right now that for me, I'm always waiting for a higher probability reversal, and it's still bearish right now. So, if you're looking for a long position based off the weekly chart, that's not I'm not looking for that personally because the overall trend is downward. And just because it's looking like a potential bottom, even though it's looking like a potential double bottom or slight bullish divergence, it's not confirmed yet. So it can continue to put in bearish divergence or bullish divergence, meaning lower prices, and everything is still trending downward. Let's look at the daily chart. There is bullish divergence on the daily chart, but it might have been cleared out already, right? So, it's possible this becomes a higher low, but just had an RSI sell signal. RSI is still bearish. So if you're looking at the weekly chart and the daily chart, it's still currently bearish, right? So for me, I wouldn't be looking for a long position personally. If you're in a short, at some point, very similar, it's kind of the opposite of the 10-year yield, right? It's looking like the opposite of the 10-year yield, where it's still bullish, but showing signs of, bearish divergence. TLT is still bearish, but showing signs of bullish divergence. So you'd be guessing at this point, and I don't want to guess. So I'm looking more like, this would be a kind of a wait and see play. So that's TLT. Let's keep going. New comments. What do we got? What do we got? Thank you, Jesse, for covering Tesla today. And I didn't even ask. You got it, John. I know I get a lot of requests on Tesla. So, got to probably keep that up there so you don't have to ask so much. But probably won't cover it every single day. But if something major is happening, we typically try to cover it. But it looks like it could be putting that lower high. So it definitely looked like it was worth taking a look at it. All right, we're going to go back up to the comments and just kind of go down the list of what we're looking for. Doc was asking yesterday. We got to cover that for Doc right now. So let's do symbol URTH. And thanks for tracking that down. I don't think it's exactly what you wanted me to chart, but I think it's going to work for you. So let's look at that. World Index Fund. Yep, that's what you're looking for, right? That's what you were saying. So let's take a look at it. First time looking at this. I've never looked at URTH before. So thank you for writing it out exactly the way you want me to look at it. And let's take a look. So right off the bat, you did have this bearish divergence. It's not picking up on the indicator like it is back here. But if I change the settings, most likely it would. And then there's a sell signal after the bearish divergence. I can tell you, looking at it, this hit a key target area. looks it looks very similar to the NASDAQ right now. If you want to look at comparisons, like it looks very similar to the NASDAQ. And after the bearish divergence, you had a potential lower high, which in hindsight, it is a lower high, followed by another lower high. And you've got a sell signal 2 days ago, right? Sell signal. And now you have a bearish MACD crossover, right? So it's bearish. There's going to be lower targets that get hit. This is kind of like the last line of defense, basically you could say, and then you're going to see lower targets get hit. This is, the eyeball test. You're looking at, potentially taking out this swing low, and then looking at, there's a lot of movement around here, and just by the eyeball test, sub $120 there. If we look at the weekly chart, it's still currently bullish, but very similar to the NASDAQ, where you had RSI sell signal. You even had our reversal candle up here, right? So reversal, sell signal. This looks like a lower high is getting put in. So again, the eyeball test, sub 120. The 200-week moving average EMA is about 112 right now. So will price come back down? Will RSI put in a RSI sell signal on the weekly chart? It seems like it. It seems like, there's going to be a retracement, and seems like there's a probability that the 200-week moving average even gets retested on URTH. So if you have any other questions on URTH specifically, just let me know. And Doc, you got it. All right. So, all right, you're good. Sounds like you're good there. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's keep going. Who else? What else do we got? What else? XOM, NT, Aldo. LFG is not a symbol. Sup, boss? Win Lambo. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Oswaldo Flores. Good morning. Stock Neo. Okay. Pretty sure I have Neo on the watch list. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let's go. Let's take a look at Neo. 7 minutes. We may run over. We're gonna try to get as many as possible. We got Don Julio, aka Julian, looking at XRP. We'll definitely want to look at that. Catan 1998. Rose, it's a crypto. Yep. Okay. Let's look at Neo. I thought I selected it. No. Where is Neo? Probably already passed it. Neo. Let's see. Where are you? There you are. Yeah, I swear I already selected. Ooh, Neo. Weekly chart. Bearish. Just dropping out, right? So price did retest the 200-week moving average. So we are covering a potential breakout with bullish divergence. Price did go back and retest the 200-week moving average and got rejected, right? And it's been bearish ever since. So if you look at the daily chart on Neo, anything specific on Neo? Anything you want to talk about on Neo? Just let me know. Take a look. Rose, please. It's crypto. Yep. Yeah, Katan, I think yeah, you posted already. Take a look at it. Maybe you copy and pasted that. Let's see. Yeah, it's just it's still bearish, right? So had that breakout, retested. At what point do you take profit, right? At what point do you take profit on that long position? And now it's just been bearish ever since. If you're in a short, It's still bearish on the daily chart. It's still bearish on the weekly chart. Yes, sir. You got it. No problem. We'll cover it. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? And early bird gets the worm on this channel. So if you're first, I definitely covered you. All right, so that's Neo still looking bearish. Let's go to Rose. Let's go to XRP. I know I have XRP on the watch list, but let's keep Rose as well. All right, so XRP. I think it's just faster if instead of me scrolling, let's search for it. I know it's on the top. I know it's on the sniper watch list for sure. Yep, there it is. There it is. Yeah, XRP daily chart. There was that daily close, as we talked about with the other crypto assets uh, yesterday. A lot of the crypto assets similar to Bitcoin was starting to look bullish, right? For a bounce. So you had that close yesterday above the trending dots. The trending dot just turned green today, right? And you had bullish divergence. So bullish divergence. Now we're closing back above. Could see that buy signal very soon, Julian, aka Don Julio. And well, let's look at the overall weekly chart. It's still bearish on the overall weekly chart. So will this just be a shorter term bounce and then you have to jump out of it because the weekly chart is bearish, the trending dots is trending down. So just be aware that you might have to trade this one on a lower time frame. And I know you and Killian are very good at trading it on the lower time frame with crypto and leverage, because you guys are becoming expert snipers over there. Love it. So the daily chart looks like it could flip bullish. It may have found support of the 200 week moving average, but is it going to just be a shorter term pump, right? So, if you look at the XRP chart, there's a lot of these where it's very difficult to trade on the higher time frames because it's a quick pump up to multiple targets and then quickly reverses right back down on the same weekly candle. So you just have to play it most likely on a lower time frame and try to catch that lightning in a bottle if that's what you're looking to do. But as of right now, the weekly chart is still bearish. Trending dots are still trending down in the weekly chart. Daily chart is after bullish divergence, could start to flip back and get a buy signal, maybe hit some targets up here, which comes back around the weekly trending dots. So there's seeing kind of a confluence there, similar to Bitcoin, where price comes up and then XRP just comes straight back down, right? So, or the Bart Simpson, right? The Bart Simpson pattern. So just take a look at that. We'll keep going. So that's XRP. What else? Atom, Rose. What else? What else? I think that might be it. So Rose got XRP. So Rose, I guess we got two more. It's right at an hour. So we've got Rose and we've got Adam. All right. So let's do Rose. Let's go. Pretty sure I don't have that on. I've looked at it. I think I looked at it a long time ago for someone else. I think it was 2022. So it's been a while. Let's look at Rose. Yeah. So Catan 1998, are you currently in a long position, or you're asking if, as if it's a good buy now, right? So overall, the weekly chart is still bearish. There are signs of life on the weekly chart, but it's running right into the downward trending. I'm just holding a bunch of rows. Okay. At what price point? Are you underwater or did you get in much lower? Uh, so the weekly chart, let's see. Let me zoom out here. If you're holding a bunch of rows, let me take a look. Yeah, I mean, based off of Binance and Tether, it pretty much came on the exchange at about this price, right? And it's, price is, from the all-time high, it's probably down 95 to 99%, whatever it is. 95%, right? Because a lot of crypto assets are. So is this towards the bottom? Possibly, right? Could price continue to go lower? Possibly. Could Rose just be one of the crypto assets that don't survive? Possibly. But if you're looking at it from, overall, it's like, if you had bought back up 10 cents, okay, so you're underwater right now. Yeah, that sucks, but could be worse, right? You could be at $1, or you could have been at not $1. You could have been at 60 cents, right? So could be worse, but Don Julio, appreciate you, man. You're always helping out in the Discord. You've been there since day one, and long time X app follower. So always appreciate your support and being part of the live coaching when we had live coaching in 2022. So got a super sniper over there, if not super sniper in the making. Let's see. So I mean, at this point, it's like when it's 95% off, you know, I guess you're probably not, this isn't financial advice, but are you selling this is a question. Are you selling now? Right. So, what you're doing at this point is you're just maybe hoping for a bounce. And then, I don't see there's no bullish divergence, but this could be a potential lower high. Let's see that. This could be bullish divergence, right? And then a slight bullish divergence. I'm not selling. Haha. Okay, cool. Then probably doesn't even really matter what I say because I'm always coming from a swing trading standpoint. But this could be the bottom, right? You got bullish divergence, potential slightly higher low. And so if price gets back above, right? Let's see, selling 10 cents, down 50% right now. Okay, so let's look at the daily chart, and then we'll take a look at Atom, and then we'll call it after that because I'm not seeing any other comments looking for it. Let's see. Wow, 1,000 views on the X app live stream. Awesome. Awesome. Much more than the YT app, right? So could see a bounce very similar to Bitcoin and the other um, crypto assets. How high of a bounce? Not sure. Possibly, maybe it's a smaller bounce to like 5 cents. Maybe it's a higher bounce to like 6 cents, and then possibly rolls back over and continues to be longer term. Going through a bottoming phase. Not that it can really go. I mean, it could always go lower, but it overall, it's looking at when it came onto the Binance exchange, it's about a very similar price now, and then after that longer term bullish divergence could be a longer term slightly higher low. It is currently bullish on the daily chart, so you could if you're just looking at shorter term, which sounds like you're holding it long term and you're not selling it, then probably doesn't even really matter on the swing trading standpoint. But overall, it's still bearish on the weekly chart and bullish on the daily chart. Let's look at Atom. I don't think I have it on A sniper top 40. Oh, I may have it on there. Let's go to symbol. There we go. Yeah, I mean it's bullish on the daily chart. Just like all the other cryptos we were talking about the last, yesterday and the last couple of days. Kind of breaking out for a bounce. Let's look at the weekly chart. That bounce, right? It's still everything is trending downward. It's still bearish on the weekly chart. That could be slight bullish divergence. So maybe the overall weekly trend gets turned around. But again, it could be future bullish divergence as well. So there's signs of life for Atom on the weekly chart. But it could always reverse back down very quickly. So based off the daily chart with the buy signal, whether it's coming back like, this and then rolls over and puts in that future bullish divergence, maybe something more mild, right? And just kind of goes through like this bottoming phase, continues. It's too early to say, but if you're in an Atom long position right now, you're probably just going to try to push that trade as long as possible. And you did have a buy signal. It did close back above the trending dots on the 14th. And then you had a buy signal, and then it was kind of a battle right here, and then another buy signal. And so you're probably just looking for it to possibly hit some higher targets, knowing that the weekly chart is still bearish. So you got to take all that in consideration. But as of right now, you did have that bullish divergence followed by a buy signal. And let's see if there's a reversal candle based off of a different setting. Nope. Nope. Okay, let's change it back to 60. So no reversal candle after the bullish divergence. So you had bullish divergence and then breakout. So currently still bullish, could be seeing that bounce, and then it's kind of a wait and see after that, right? Will it flip those potential targets into support, or will the weekly chart continue to prevail and put in bullish divergence, calling it, as low future potential lower prices and putting that longer term bullish divergence? Too early to say. With that, we ran 8 minutes over. Very similar to the previous live streams. We've been running about 10 minutes over. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate your support. Thank you for liking, commenting the symbols, and sharing this on both live streams and both apps, the X and the YTube apps. And thank you for your continued support. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next one. All right.